Hello, good morning and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Klenam Radio Bato, Gaskia FM Techiman, and Radio Wa. Get radio, TV, and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, former First Lady Theresa Kufuor passes on at age 87. Also, former President Mahama calls on government to scrap import charges on taxes and medication and kits for dialysis treatment, describing decision to pass on costs to kidney patients as insensitive.
The government should not be insensitive by passing on catastrophic healthcare costs onto the people with life-threatening.
We'll bring you more details. Also, Multimedia Group Limited wins big at the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana Annual Awards as Joy SMS and myjoyonline.com grabs CIMAG radio program and online news portal of the year.
Having won it last year and winning it again this year, it tells us that we are doing something that people are excited about.
And an award like this is just an icing on the cake to remind us that what we are doing is for a greater good.
We have all these and more with me, Hannah Odami. We start on a sad note. Former First Lady of Ghana, Theresa Kufuor, has passed on at age 87. Theresa Kufuor was the wife of former President John Dramani Mahama, the second president of the Fourth Republic of Ghana. My colleague Elton Bobe joins me in the studio for more on this. Elton, what more are we learning?
So we are learning that she died on Sunday, October 1, 24 days to her 88th birthday. Theresa Kufuor was born on October 25th, 1935. She was a retired nurse and a midwife. Her husband, former President John Dramani Mahama, we are told was at home when his wife, whom he has been married for over 55 years, died. Mrs. Kufuor has not been well in recent years. Incidentally, we are told also President Akufo-Addo had traveled to the mountains to pay a visit to the former president, and her passing is said to have happened shortly before the president's arrival. And we are told that a press conference will be issued today announcing officially the passing of Mrs. Kufuor.
Thank you very much for those details, Elton John Broby. Moving on, former President John Dramani Mahama is calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, scrap import charges and taxes on medications and kits for dialysis treatments across the country. This follows recent increment in the cost of dialysis services at the renal dialysis units of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital by 100%. Speaking at an event to mark this year's UN International Day of the Aged, Mr. Mahama described as insensitive government's decision to pass the cost of renal treatment to patients considering the high cost of living.
The explanation I've read from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital cites the increase in taxes and duties of materials for dialysis treatment as the main reason for their decision to hike the price by 100%. As an immediate measure, I call on the government to exempt medication and kits for dialysis treatment from taxes and duties to maintain this critical lifeline for patients whose survival depends on this treatment.
Mr. Mahama added government will be passing a death sentence on such patients if it does not absorb the associated cost immediately.
Amidst the current economic crisis and a difficult period for many Ghanaians with worsening hardship, high cost of living, collapsing businesses and unemployment, the government should not be insensitive by passing on catastrophic healthcare costs onto the people with life-threatening diseases, especially the elderly, because this is akin to condemning them to a death sentence. Many of such patients in this bracket are elderly people.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo says his administration is on course to make Ghana the center of medical excellence in the sub-region. According to him, 89 of the Agenda 111 hospitals have reached a completion rate of 52%, while some at work at the site are 70 to 80% complete. Speaking at the commissioning of St. Michael's Specialist Hospital in Accra, President Akufo-Addo said his government is committed to improving access to quality health care.
Thus far, construction of 86 district hospitals, 2 regional psychiatric hospitals, and the Western Regional Hospital are ongoing, which are all at various levels of completion. The average completion rate of the 89 ongoing projects is 52%, with work at some of the sites being 70 to 80% complete.
You heard the President Akufo-Addo. Let's move on. And the Trades Union Congress has begun salary adjustment negotiations with government ahead of the 2024 budget presentation. Organized labor had tough time agreeing on a base pay with government this year after their proposed 60% was rejected by government. Now, after a series of inconclusive meetings between the two parties, government granted a 30% salary increase to workers, even though it said the increment will put pressure on the already prepared 2023 budget. In an exclusive interview with Joy News, Deputy General Secretary of the Trades Union Congress, Joshua Ansah, hinted the union has already begun negotiations with government ahead of the 2024 budget presentation.
So many factors, the DDEP, the IMF issues and whatever. I mean, we are in this country, we know what has happened. That is why we don't want this one to repeat itself like what happened the last year, where they can come and excuse that it was not fighting the budget and so on and so forth. But whatever it is, I can assure you that once we have begun the process, I'm very sure by November that they will read their budget. I think we need to be able to conclude the negotiations.
Mr. Ansah also believes the union will secure a good deal that will reflect current states of inflation.
People are already agitated because the cost of living this time, the economy itself is something. People are really suffering. Anybody who is not suffering maybe has some free money somewhere that he's using. But any ordinary worker in this country is suffering. The whole economic situation in this country is not too well. It's not sitting well with all of us. And I think that is why we have a role and a duty as union leaders to ensure that we negotiate good conditions of service and salaries for our members.
We move to some good news, and the Multimedia Group Limited has picked up 2 awards at the 34th Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana's annual awards. Joy FM's flagship program, Joy Super Morning Show, that's Joy SMS, won the Best Radio Program of 2022, while Ghana's leading online portal, myjoyonline.com, won the CIMG Best Online News Portal of the year 2022. Host of the Super Morning Show, Kojo Yangsid, explains the motivation behind Joy SMS's compelling content.
The future is bright. We've always wanted to go where the audience is, and we're not going to stop now. So we are going to keep crafting products and packages that will be easy to deliver to our audience wherever they may be. The Super Morning Show is already global, but we want to now turn it from a global brand into a personal brand, an individual brand that people can access everywhere they are at all times.
Meanwhile, editor at myjoyonline.com, Abubakar Ibrahim, rehashed myjoyonline.com's goal of serving readers with accurate, timely information.
Having won it last year and winning it again this year, it tells us that we are doing something that people are excited about.
So what should we expect from My Joy Online?
Now that we're going into the election year in 2024, they should expect that everything that happens, we will be there to cover and give them the news.
Before we go, we take you to one of the busiest roads that connects the western and central regions to the capital. That's the Kaswa-Accra Highway. The once glorious stretch has lost its glory. Gaping potholes, stagnant rainwater and mud from surrounding hills have taken over portions of the road, forcing commuters to spend hours in traffic on a trip that would have lasted at least few minutes. Joining us, Faustina Safo has more in today's episode of our Potholes exhibition series.
A few meters from the Kaswa toll booth is a stagnant pool of water, more like a naturally created government's flagship project. One district, one dam. The problem, however, is that the irrigation potential of this particular dam, created by cascading rainwater and mudslides, is not being tapped, as it sits right in the middle of the road.
From Tobu to Wanangasa de Bahan, you try 6 hours. Ghana for no Mudri or Monfaho, no ma father leno, no ma so hazard.
Yesterday, we spent 6 hours in traffic from the toll booth to this point. Our leaders don't use this stretch each time it rains. They rather put on their sirens and use the other lane.
Drivers navigating this stretch must drive with caution, mindful of the peril that awaits them if they speed up.
Each time it rains, this is what we endure. Just now, my brake band came off. I have to buy a new one.
Honestly, it's really hard. Like, even when I take my driver and we go towards Accra, it took 4 hours.
And that's all for the news at 6 with me, Hannah Odame. You'll find all these stories and more on myjoyonline.com. The Super Morning Show continues next.